Now let's look at what are the Taoist or non-being attitude and approaches. First, pursue a natural way of life. Basically, they have this idea that you should go with the flow, go with nature. You should live a spontaneous lifestyle, not to be burdened by any ambition and purpose. That naturally go with this idea of flow with nature. Here we have a quote from Lao Tzu. Life is a series of natural and spontaneous changes. Don't resist them. That only creates sorrow. Let reality be reality. Let things flow naturally forward in whatever way they like. Then you have this quote from Zhuangzi. Follow with whatever may happen and let your mind be free. Stay centered by accepting whatever you are doing. That is the ultimate. So this is really kind of attitude that really preferred by the Taoists and pursue a natural way of life. Okay? It's like don't worry, be happy kind of attitude toward the life. Makuna Matata. Anybody have seen Lion King? You know, the Makuna Matata. Don't worry, just have your life, be happy. Okay, just spontaneous, spontaneous. Don't be too hard on yourself. Okay. We have people who like to travel. You know, there are different approaches toward travel. Some people, before they travel, before the trip, they pull out all the maps and plan everything on the way. Okay, first day I'll go here and stay in this hotel. I need to book the hotel. Next day, at what time I arrive in that place and I stay in this hotel. I have to book all hotel beforehand. So before they finish trip, they have to, before they start the trip, they plan everything to the point that they already decide what time, what cloud they're going to come back after the trip. So everything was detailed, planned out. And this is not a non-being approach. This is not the Wu Wei approach. A non-being approach would be just go out, start driving, and you stop anytime you want, and you stop wherever you want. So that would be, you're not burdened by any specific plan, not burdened by details. This would be a Wu Wei approach toward a trip, non-being approach. Okay. So first is to pursue the natural way of life. Then we have make measured actions and adopt a balanced view and a balanced approach. And this means let nature take its course. Let things happen in their own way. Don't push too hard. And don't introduce too much external interference. Okay. And this is a kind of a attitude or approach that is very popular among Taoists when it comes to decide to what is the best approach to deal with some specific issues. Now here you have a quote from Lao Tzu, three separate quotes. The first two quotes is about as a ruler, as a leader of a country, what would be the best way to govern a state. A leader is best when people barely know he exists. When his work is done, his aim fulfilled. They will say, we did it ourselves. So that really means that as a leader, as a ruler of a country, you should rule people in such a way that the people really do not feel that they are ruled by someone else. People all feel that they did all things by themselves. So that is a very measured approach. Do not push things very hard. As a result, people really do not feel that they are pushed around. They feel that everything that is done is by their own choice. So that's is a measured action. And the next quote from Lao Tzu, governing a great nation is like cooking a small fish. Too much handling will spoil it. That's the same idea. Don't push when you have something to be done. You take appropriate approach. Don't push too much. Don't push too hard. Don't interfere too much with the inner working of the things, and just let it run its own course. If you introduce too much force from outside, eventually you probably have opposite effect. The last quote: "Fill your bowl to the brim, and it will spill. Keep sharpening your knife, and it will blunt." So that have same kind of meaning into it. And we know that many parents want their children to do well in school. Therefore, sometimes they set very specific goals for their kids, saying, okay, for this test, you must make 95%. Otherwise, no Disney World, or no this trip, no concert, no car for you. So this really very hard approach and push very hard on children to set very clear goal, very explicit goal for for their kids to achieve. And this is really not a non-being approach. This is really a being approach, too aggressive, too explicit, too bombastic, too external, too heavy-handed. A non-being approach, a Wu-Wei approach, would be low-key, is more subtle. And think about that. You set this specific goal for a kid, 95%. If that kid's true potential is 97%, if you only set 95 as a limit, then he would not make effort to get 97. So you get opposite result. So this non-being approach, the being approach, really sometimes you have opposite result. So you really need non-being approach. Non-being approach also make sometimes have the truly better result. Some parents I know that want their children to play a piano, and so every day they want children to play at least 2 hours of piano to practice. So every day they would look at the clock and remind the kid it's time to play piano. And if the kids happen to have something else that they cannot play a piano up to 2 hours or at the time the parents want, the parents become very aggressive. You are not playing the piano yet. Sit down. And if you keep pushing kids like that, eventually the kids may not even have the interest. They may eventually lose interest in playing piano. So this is you can see you push so hard, eventually you have the opposite effect to what you really want the kid achieve. So you should really take measured action. Measured action means the non-being approach. You do things in such a way that you try to nudge your kid toward a certain direction, but you cannot use very hard sell approach. You should use an approach that is kind of implicit, is a soft sell. You nudge kid to that direction, but not push them to that direction. You would make them feel very uncomfortable. Eventually, they may totally just give it up. So that's what they mean by taking measured action and adopt a balanced approach. Okay. Then next one, non-judgmental, releasing judgment. And things are related to each other. They may even change to each other. So you should not rush to conclusion prematurely. Here we see on this slide this yin-yang symbol, and the Chinese call this the yin-yang fish because the shape of this of this half of this shape is like a fish, and this eye, and this you have two fish here. The white part is a young fish, the black part is yin fish. But you can see that within yang there is yin, within yin there's a yang. So things actually different things actually exist within each other. Opposite things exist within each other, and they relate to each other. They may even change to each other, and therefore you really cannot too quick to make a judgment which is right, which is what, which is right, which is better, which is wrong. As that you cannot be quick to make a judgment. And here is a quote from Zhuangzi. All existing things are really one. We regard those that are beautiful and rare as valuable, and those that are ugly as foul and rotten. The foul and rotten may come to be transformed into what is rare and valuable, and the rare and the valuable into what is foul and rotten. So that really tells these notions that the things are actually relate to each other. You really should not make too quick judgment to see which is good, which is bad. Let me use this example to illustrate this idea. That there's the story in ancient China that this old man has a very good horse. One day, the horse ran away, and they cannot find horse anymore. And then the neighbors come to the old man saying that, well, we heard that a great horse runs away. We're very sorry about that. It's just a great loss. And this old man said, well, I'm not quite sure whether this is a good thing or a bad thing. Okay. Then a few days after that, the horse came back, and all by himself. Okay. After that, then neighbors come to the old man again, saying that, hey, we heard that your nice horse comes back, and congratulations. And the old man said, well, I'm not sure whether that is a good or bad thing. Then a few days after that, his son rode on the horse, and went out to ride on the horse, then fell off from the horse and broke his leg. Then after that happened, a neighbor again come back to the old man saying, we heard your son broke his leg. Well, we're sorry, that happened. It's pretty bad. And the old man said, I'm not sure whether it's good or bad. Then 1 month later, and the news comes that the country was in the war with an enemy state. And then the emperor sent people come to recruit new soldiers in the village. Now, because of the old man's son broke his leg, well, he was not recruited. He would stay home and did not go to war. So, so you can really see how something that appeared to be bad eventually turned to be good. But when something to be good also appeared to be bad later on. That's how things relate to each other, how things change into each other. So you really should not very quick to make a judgment regarding whether or not this is good or this is right, or so on and so forth. So that is, again, a non-being attitude or non-being approach toward things. Now, next one, freedom of mind. Freedom of mind. You should liberate the individual from confines of his own experience, prejudice, and standard. You cannot just judge everything by your own standard, because you do not know everything. You do not know everything. You have your own limited vision, so you cannot, from your own experience, to judge what happened to other people, is that good or bad to judge other people. Okay? As Zhuangzi said here, a frog in a well cannot conceive of the ocean. So that is exactly we that indicates this notion that we should not just look at other people by using our own standard. And a frog in a bottom of a well have very limited vision. He has no idea what is outside looks like. So now if the frog begin to impose his opinion, his standard on things outside this well, it just appears to be very unnatural. So that mind is not free. It's not free. And a very famous story here is this. Zhuangzi had this essay. In that essay, he wrote that he dreamed to become a butterfly, and the butterfly fly about very happily. Then all of a sudden, he wake up from the dream and realize, oh, I'm still Zhuangzi here. Then he began to ask questions in an essay. Now, I do not know whether I was then a man dreaming I was a butterfly, or whether I am now a butterfly dreaming I am a man. This is a very famous story. The point of this story is that we really should not set up so many distinctions, so many separations, have so many different categories when we come to look at things. And if you set up those different categories, different standards, you only limit your own thinking. So that's the point. And the things are related to each other. Things, there's a transformation between things. Between dream and real life, there may be transformation. Between man and butterfly, there may be transformation. You cannot always set different categories into fixed things into different categories, and that eventually you limit your mind. An unfreed mind is unnatural. Is unnatural. So that is the point of this story. So you need a freedom of mind. So that is a very important point made by Zhuangzi in this context. In this context, okay. Now, the optimal way is the Tao, and if the Tao, the ultimate way is also the natural way, okay. And doing anything in a way that is most appropriate and most optimal. So this, in this context, Zhuangzi tells this story. You have this. Pao Ding, who was a butcher, who cut out the oxes, just dissect oxes. You know, one time he came to perform his cutting up an ox. He did the cutting in such a way that he totally in a dancing motion. He danced around. At the same time, he cut knife into this ox, and then this different cuts of ox fly off his blade. All very nice, and he did a job in such a skillful manner that his knife never cut into any wrong place, and never cut into ligament, never cut into tendon, a joint, a bones. He always go exactly where the knife should go between different sections of meat. He know exactly where to go. Between different sections here, he should know exactly that's where to go. That's where the blade should go. That's where the blade should go. That's exactly how he did. And he says that my blade is sharp and thin. I know the structure of an ox is so well, I know that I should go in those places. To me, because I know this ox so well, those space actually is very wide, so I can easily make my blade go into those places in between different sections. And to me, that is the best way of doing it. That is a natural way of doing it. That is a way of doing it. That's the Tao of cutting up an ox. So that is the optimal way is the Tao, is the natural way. So doing anything in a way that is most appropriate and most optimal. He did this cutting is so well that for 19 years he never need to sharpen up his his knife. So use the same knife for 19 years because he always let his blade go to the right place, never cut into bone or tendon anything. So his knife never go dull. 19 years never need to sharpen his knife. So that's the idea. The optimal way is the Tao. But there's a point here he made that it appears that your effortless action that has very good result is actually the result of cultivation and practices. The practice make perfect. It seems to be, you cut this ox in a very skillful measure. You seem to be effortless, but it's because you have gone through lot of practices. And as part of this story, Zhuangzi says, this butcher, the first time when he came to cut one ox, all he saw was an ox. But after a few years of doing it, eventually he didn't see the ox anymore. He saw is what he saw is something in his mind, is his spirit. His spirit. And now he just follow his spirit, follow his understanding, follow his instinct. After repeated practice, he became so good. He just follow his instinct. Now his instinct, his spirit, his mind, not his hand, guide his knife to cut into the ox. Not his eyes, not his arms, the guide his knife. Now it is his mind. Now it is his spirit. It is mind that guide his blade cutting into the ox, and that is exactly what makes him did his job so well. In this context, some of you may have seen the SpongeBob cartoon show on TV. One episode is that SpongeBob and Squidward playing those kind of a crane machine outside a grocery store. You may have that experience outside a grocery store. That little box within that box, there's a crane. There's a lot of toys in it. You put a quarter in it, then you can try to use the crane grab a toy. If you grab a toy, you can eventually own that toy. And Squidward repeatedly do it, but never get anything. But when SpongeBob came to do it, every time he did it right. Every time he did it right. Every time he used the crane to grab a toy, he got that toy. And Squidward just got so mad. Then SpongeBob came to explain why he did so well. His explanation is that be the crane. You have to make your mind, make yourself be the crane. So that is the secret of his success. Also, in this context, rapper Drake, a very famous rapper from Canada, we know that he did this rap song very quickly. Then this reporter come to interview him. The question is, how do the lyrics come when you are rapping at full speed? Is it like having a mental teleprompter? Indeed, we see those rappers when they rap in a song, the word comes out constantly, very quick, and they never need to stop thinking. And the answer from Drake is the moment you start seeing the words is the moment you start forgetting the words. So that exactly, uh, you really cannot, in the middle of rapping, you stop and start thinking, okay, what word comes next? It all comes in a stream. You have to, in instinct, it comes out all by itself naturally. Like go back to a Drake, I have to go out there convinced that I know everything because I wrote it, and that when the time comes, it will just happen. It will just happen. Why it will just happen? Because obviously that's after many days of rehearsal. You practice so many times, so eventually it becomes part of your instinct. You just its whole word comes out effortlessly. It appears to be effortless, but that is a result of repeated practice. Repeated practice. So that same principle as we said, it's from last slide about that butcher cutting an ox. Now I put a centipede here because a related example is about a centipede. Centipede has many legs, and he doesn't seem to have trouble to walking around with so many legs. One day somebody asked a centipede, how do you work with so many legs? When you start working, which leg you move first? And centipede said, okay, let me think which leg I move first. But when he started thinking about which leg he moved first, he paralyzed. He cannot move anymore. So that's again the same idea. You have that should become your part of your instinct. You cannot really start thinking. Okay, the same idea as what rapper Drake said here.